My guess is it's roughly 50-50 whether human civilization will destroy itself in the next not so many generations. Let's just say 200 years toss up, whether we get our act together or we'll destroy ourselves. And by the way, I think that if we don't get our act together, the alternative will be destroying ourselves, that we won't be able to just keep muddling through because we're playing Russian roulette with nuclear war, and we become an ever bigger bull in the china shop. So, ecologically speaking, so one or the other. So if that's the case, then and that's really that's what animates me in my life because I've got this quote better human story that I think uh, at least somewhat could improve our odds. Um, but if that's the case, then the question is, well, I'm trying to get certain ideas across because I care about it. And what I don't know is um, how much of concern is there about that sort of thing out in the world? Um, how many people, first of all, look at the just the whole question of the fate of human civilization versus just being along for the ride and not giving any of the larger sweeps of things any thought. I don't know. Um, I mean, we did have dangers of nuclear war at certain points. Did people think much about that? And we've got climate change going on. Are people looking into the future? I mean, and to the extent to which they're looking, how much is there a caring, a feeling of the heart of wanting things to go okay and not to have death win? I don't know. I don't know that either. I think of uh, Rudy Giuliani asked about what he was doing and its impact on his legacy. And he said, well, why should I care about my legacy? I'll be dead. And there's a funny line from John Maynard Keynes about posterity. Why should I care about posterity? What's posterity ever done for me? Uh, I do wonder how many people take it to heart. Um, I think it would be good for more people too, because uh, if we're not paying attention to the challenges that we face to have things tip to the good side of that toss up, um, if we're not really invested in it, we're not likely to do the best job we can of finding our way to a viable human civilization for the long haul. So then I can ask the question, well, why why do I care about it? I'm not the most soft-hearted person. I don't when there's some big flood someplace in the world and several thousand people may die in the flood or something like that. I'm sorry, but I'm not super invested in it. I mean, I just sort of gotten inured to the fact that stuff happens. Um, but I don't feel that way about the failure of human civilization, and I'm not sure exactly why that is. When I think about it, I think about a famous speech from Hamlet about what a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, and all that. And he says that, but he's very sour on things at that point. I mean, his point is to say, yeah, but man delights not me, and I'm not entirely delighted with what I see either. But there's something about us human beings that even though we've been a pretty dangerous experiment, as it turns out, for life on Earth to produce somebody like us who can, break out of the natural order and unleash all kinds of destructive force, unfortunately. But in addition to unleashing all the destructive force, the consciousness that we have that has developed with us, the creative intelligence that allowed us to unleash that destructive force, which is, by the way, a major idea in the Better Human Story, which is we got to look at what happened when our species took an unprecedented step by extricating itself from the niche in which it evolved biologically by creating its own way of life. Anyway, there's something so wonderful about everything that good that people have created. And would you not want to have a creature that can do something like write Shakespeare's plays or Bach's music continue? Wouldn't you like to see life be able to develop into a creature that's aware of its existence, that thinks about things, that figures out things like light years and galaxies and things like DNA and things like the Big Bang? Wouldn't you want that breakthrough into life being aware of itself and being in awe of the cosmos in which we emerged and forever creating new things, creativity? That's the sense in which, if you say, in what sense are we created in the image of God? I don't know anything really about God, but one of the thing that is special about us is that we are creators. We're a special thing that came out of the evolution of life and made something very rich and in many ways very beautiful. So I really do want for our species to get its act together. I have, one of the things I say follows from my Better Human Story. I claim to have proved that the ugliness we see in human history is not human nature writ large. I think that some of us, and including maybe me to some extent, look around us at all the ugliness in the human world and think, well, that's what we are. And so the idea of that whole thing, human civilization collapsing after all these thousands of years of so much ugliness, doesn't seem like such a terrible thing. But I think that we are better creatures than we think ourselves to be. I claim to prove that we are, and that we are not necessarily confined to creating this kind of ugliness along with the rest of the good stuff that we create. That if we can get control of the destructive forces that we've unleashed, then we can get the kind of world that we want. And I think that human beings, I have another video on this very topic, that human beings, if asked, would say they want a world at peace and not at war, a world filled with love and not with hate, a world organized according to justice and not injustice. And I think that people sincerely want that. And I think that a species that does sincerely want all that could build a whole lot better world if it only got under control the forces that have mandated that the spirit of the gangster will get a disproportionate role in shaping that civilization until those forces are brought under control. So I think we could make something really beautiful, that things like Bach and Shakespeare can be joined by the sense of the whole of human civilization. But we have a lot of work to do to get there. And we're more likely to do the work if we realize that things that are worth caring about are at stake and can be saved and can be magnified if we fight this battle appropriately. Well, thank you. Bye-bye.